Hello again, everybody. I'm Matthew White, and welcome to another edition of FYI, right here from the Real Estate Channel studios. My guest today is Rien Sharma from Revamp Home Staging. Ryan, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Let me start off by asking you how you guys came up with the name for Revamp.
It was just a discussion about 4 years ago, just a common discussion. We wanted to get into the industry or start the industry at the time, and it was just a normal discussion, and the name just popped up as to what we're going to do in terms of staging the property, and Revamp came up, and it just clicked, and here we are 4 years later.
History was made.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, for those that don't know what you guys do, give us a little idea.
Revamp Home Staging, what we do is we specialize in presenting properties for sale, vacant properties, investors, properties go on the market for resale. We look at every aspect of staging, renovation, and really putting properties together to make sure that it's presented in a way that appeals to the most number of buyers, really.
So I have that mental image of people like, running about with plants and furniture and stuff like that. Is that basically what happens?
It's one aspect of it. We at Revamp, when you look at a project, you walk through a place and really look at a project, we look at it go, what can be done in every aspect of it? When somebody walks in, how can this place really shine?
Right.
It could be, changing light fixtures to ripping out the carpet to laying hardwood floors or whatever it may be. And the very end or the last thing we do is furnish it with the most appropriate furnishings, run around with cushions and trees and plants and the rest of it, and make sure that the property actually looks like something that has come out of a magazine, really.
Now, who typically would hire a stager? What are your client base like? Is it vary?
What we have in terms of the client base is anyone who's an investor, people buying and flipping properties, people who have owned the property for 30 years or 50 years and they want to resell it. We have got developers who we do display homes and show suites for. So it ranges from anywhere from a 25-year-old property owner to 60-year-old property owner who's looking at selling the property. So anyone anyone who owns a property, really.
So basically anybody could call. It's not just for upper echelon developers, that type of thing.
No, we work with anything an apartment that is valued at $200,000, or we do $7 million penthouses, West Side Vancouver homes to East Side condos. So anything really that has got real estate, we are in it.
Now I assume it varies, but what type of expenses are we talking here?
Staging is a fairly expensive aspect of the business, actually. When you look at, having a warehouse with $1.5 to $2 million worth of inventory, the costs that are there, it is not a cheap process.
Right.
It is pricey, but when you have to look at in terms of how do you define pricey, it's sort of like what is the return you're going to get?
Right.
It's we did a project actually, and one of the sellers, the perfect way she put it was that it's an investment is what they consider it to be. Spending an X amount of dollars, whether it be $1,000 to $10,000, what is that going to get you in return?
Right.
Generally it is shorter period on the market and a higher sales price. There has been independent research done where staging yields anywhere from 5 to 10% of the cost in profit, kind of a thing. So it increases the value of the property you're selling anywhere from 5 to 10%. So
you have to think about it as an investment, I assume.
Totally. If you're looking at selling a $1 million property, for example, at 10% at the higher scale, you're looking at $100,000 on the return of a $10,000 investment. You know what I mean? So you have to put in perspective as to what it really gives in terms of return, and that way you can justify spending the dollars to make the investment in staging.
Any success stories that you can actually mention to us there?
We've got a whole bunch, actually. We have just recently in December, we finished a project for one of the very big developers in Vancouver. They had a project at $6 million sitting on the market for 4 months. They staged it themselves. They couldn't sell it. And they called us up. We got them to destage the whole place, remove everything. We started from scratch again, staged it, put it back on the market, and they sold it in the first showing for full price. So, that's one of the success stories, but there's a whole bunch. Check out our website. There's testimonial from clients and the rest of it that goes to show as to what it really does.
It's interesting because, how do you know what looks good? I walk into a room and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I would be no help to stage this place to look very good. You must have a team that works with you, or people that have a good visual eye for that type of aesthetic.
Yeah, we've got a whole crew that are involved in the implementation of the project, actually, but I do all the design work right now. So we have been in business for 4 years, tried and tested results and the components that go into the presentation aspect of it. So So, from the scale of furniture to the kind of art pieces and the rest of it, understanding the architecture and making sure that the staging aspect of it, with Revamp anyways, we try to complement what is there as a structure and work with that instead of trying to fight it. So it's a very fine and defined project for sure.
And I guess the client would give you full, control over that aspect and don't get in your face or pick or anything like that,
No, the clients, they have seen our work through our gallery and the rest of it, and they believe in us and they believe in our product, give us the go-ahead to go and take care of the project on our own. So that's what we do.
Well, now the people that are sitting back and, looking at this are ready to sell a house and want to have this done, how can they find out more information? How can they get a hold of you, Ryan?
We've got a really good web presence. If you went to Google and did a home staging search, our company Revamp Home Staging would come up. Our website is www.revampconcepts.com. Telephone number is 604-738-2675. And that's the easiest way to get a hold of us.
Rien Sharma from Revamp, thank you very much for coming on FYI today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.